بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. We greet you on this, the 27th day of the blessed month of Ramadan with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The juz for today, go to my book, The Quran and the Moon. On the 27th day, it begins with Surah Al-Qiyamah, goes to Surah Al-Insan, Surah Al-Mursalat, Surah Al-Naba, and ends with Surah Al-Nazi'at. Now then, we're speaking about the footprints of the Antichrist, and our Christian brothers in particular would be tremendously interested in learning what our Prophet, Allah's blessings be upon him, has said about the Antichrist, as only a prophet could speak. We spoke last night about the epistemological attack of the Antichrist, and this is perhaps his most dangerous attack of all. And if we succumb to this attack, we would be rendered a people who would, like him, would be jasads, meaning we would be internally blind. We would not be able to ever reach Majma'ul Bahrain, the place where the two oceans meet. The ocean of knowledge externally acquired, and the ocean of knowledge internally received. And these two oceans of knowledge are harmoniously integrated. This is Khidr alayhi salam. This was Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi, one of the rivers which came from Khidr alayhi salam. And Khidr is so much like Jesus. And from Khidr to Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi, and then so many rivers came from him, and one of them was Dr. Muhammad Iqbal. And so many rivers came from Iqbal, and one of them was my teacher of blessed memory, Maulana Dr. Muhammad Fadl Rahman Ansari, Majma'ul Bahrain, the place where the two oceans meet. And now then, if we are a lucky people and we can survive his epistemological attack, we'll be able to understand and penetrate the next attack, which is also perhaps, some might say this is his most dangerous attack. Why? The Prophet, Allah's blessing be upon him, said that the Antichrist will come with a mountain of bread, and people will follow him for his bread. How does he get this bread? The answer, he gets this bread, this mountain of bread, which is what the modern West has today, because of riba. The Prophet ﷺ is on Mount Arafat, and he gives a farewell sermon, Khutbatul Wida. Shortly after that, the last revelation came down. We thought it was the last, because Allah says, "Ba'da'uzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim." Revelation came down. Al-yawma akmaltu lakum deenakum. Today we've perfected the deen. The deen was coming to us from all the way from Adam alayhi salam to Ibrahim alayhi salam to Abraham to Moses to Jesus. And now finally, the deen has come. There's one deen with Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. And today it is perfected. وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي. And today I have completed my favor unto you. So we thought this is the last. But no. After this khutbatul wida, he left Mecca and returned to Yathrib, which today is called Medina. And it was there that one more revelation came down. why did Allah do this? Why did He, after declaring the job is finished, why did He send one more? Except to emphasize to us, now and for all times, that here is where the greatest danger of all. The last revelation on the authority of Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu is located in Surah Al-Baqarah. I think it is one, what is it? It's close to the end. And Allah says 184, 185, 186 perhaps. He says, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله. O you who have faith in the one God, fear Allah. وذروا ما بقي من الربا. And give up your demand for riba. إن كنتم مؤمنين, if you are faithful. فإن لم تفعلوا, and if you don't do it, فأذنوا بحرب من الله ورسوله. Take notice, I'm going to wage war, and my messenger, my prophet will also wage war with me on riba. The implication of this last revelation coming down on the subject of riba is because this is where the greatest danger of all is located, and this is how Dajjal gets his mountain of bread. The Prophet ﷺ cursed all four, and he said they're all equally guilty. The one who takes riba, the one who gives riba, he borrows from the IMF and he has to pay, as Pakistan has been doing, even under Imran Khan, and he has to pay the interest. The Prophet cursed you. The one who records the transaction and both the two witnesses, and he said they're all equally guilty, equally guilty. And so it is through riba that Dajjal gets his mountain of gold, of bread. What is riba? When I go to Britain, I hope to get a chance to speak at length on the subject, but you can't speak on length in 1 hour. So you still have to get parts of the subject. You have to, I have delivered seminars on the subject of riba. I think the first one was in Seattle on the west coast of the United States. It must have been 22 years ago I was in Seattle. I gave the same seminar. It was an all-day seminar on riba in Colombo, in Sri Lanka. I gave it in Sydney, in Australia. I gave it in Kuala Lumpur, in Malaysia. I don't know where else I've given the complete one-day seminar on riba. Riba today, which delivers to Dajjal his mountain of gold, is a subject nobody teaches anymore. It seems as though there is an incapacity in Islamic scholarship to be able to understand and penetrate the subject, and also perhaps they are scared of teaching the subject. And so let us make, I pray that Allah helps me to make this video short. Yes, just a snippet of an explanation on riba. The riba in the modern world comes basically from two ways. Number one, it comes from the money. What is money? And number two, it comes from the banking system. Although the Prophet ﷺ defined riba as any transaction, not just money being lent on interest, any transaction. Listen carefully, I'm going to speak slowly. Any transaction, excuse me, based on deception, which delivers an advantage, a gain, a reward, which is unjust, is riba. He says, if you meet a man coming to the market to sell his goods, he has a truckload of durians. If you've never ate a durian, you don't know the king of all fruits. It's in Southeast Asia. He has a truckload of durians. and you meet him outside of the market and you buy his truckload of durians from him. And when he goes into the market, he discovers he could have gotten a better price. The Prophet said that's riba. The price in the market was a higher price. You met him outside of the market, you concealed from him what was the market price, and you bought the truckload of durians for him by deception at a price lower than the market price. That is riba. You take your car to the garage. It's just a fuse that needs to be changed. And the fuse is probably €1. And the garage says, this is a big job. This is going to take 1 week. It's going to cost you €5,000, and you know nothing about the car. 1 week later, you go, you pay the $5,000 to collect your car. And all that the garage did was a change of fuse that was what? That cost €1. That is riba. So this transaction based on deception is there in the monetary system. But Imran Khan's government in Pakistan, and every government in Pakistan, every government in the world of Islam, from the beginning to this day, in the modern age, they don't know this subject. It is not taught in the Darul Uloom. It will never be taught in the Darul Uloom. Never. They took gold and silver, dinar and dirham, which is in the Quran, which is money with intrinsic value. This is money in the Quran. I don't have the time to explain it to you. And they banned it. You're prohibited from using gold as money. That is in the Articles of Agreement of the International Monetary Fund. And if you make haram what Allah made halal, that is shirk. And what they did was shirk. And if we follow them and accept it, we are also in the shirk. Perhaps now you'll be able to understand the hadith located in Sahih Bukhari, I think it is 4 times, that 999 out of every 1,000 will enter into the hellfire. Now you can understand there's only one way. There's only one way that the God who is kind and forgiving and merciful could send 999 out of every 1,000 into the hellfire. It's because he said, I will not forgive shirk. And they were committing shirk. So when the IMF banned the use of gold as money, they were now free to bring their bogus money into the market. Money with no intrinsic value. Money with, listen to the words, money with fictitious value assigned by people. And therefore it can be manipulated. And when they want to attack you, they will cause the value of your money to fall. As the money was falling in Pakistan because they're not comfortable with Imran Khan's government. And as the value of money falls, prices will rise. You used to work for a salary, and instead of paying you your salary in dinars, and now Russia is doing that, Russia's money now is being backed by gold. Instead of paying you with dinar, out there in Kimberley, they were going for the diamond veins underneath. They were paying the Africans in paper. And when they paid you with paper, if you were good waging, getting a good wage, and after 1 month you could buy a camel. But then after some time, the work is the same, the sweat is the same. But after some time, the salary can no longer buy a camel. It can only buy a donkey. How do we explain that? And then later on, it can't buy a donkey anymore. It can only buy a sheep. And if you're in Indonesia, later on, you can't buy a sheep anymore. You can only buy a chicken. Is there no sense in the head other than peanuts to understand that this falling value of money results in a massive transfer of wealth internally within the country to a predatory elite, and also a massive transfer of wealth outside, like a vacuum pump that you use for vacuuming your carpet. Instead, this monetary system is like a vacuum pump, vacuuming the wealth of Africa, vacuuming the wealth of the rest of the world, and bringing it up into the West so that the Dajjal could have his mountain of bread. The banking system is the same, but we won't take the banking system now because this video is too long. I want to short it. And so, the Dajjal will come with a mountain of bread. And when all the wealth of the world is over here, everybody wants a US visa, want a British visa. They want a Canadian visa. They want to go and live in Australia. They want Singapore. They want Brunei. They want to go where the bread is located. Not knowing that you are looking at and it looks like a river. The Dajjal's river is not a river. The Dajjal's river is his fire. And you're looking at Indonesia and Pakistan and Bangladesh, where the place is so poor, miserably poor. And you're saying, that's the fire. I would never go back to live in Bangladesh. I have more sense than that. Why would I leave New York or Los Angeles or Miami? Are you listening to me in the United States? I lived there for 12 years, you know. Why would I leave the green pastures of the United States of America to go back to Pakistan? Why would I do that? That's Dajjal. That is fire down there in Pakistan. The poverty is so great. No, you dumb. That fire is where the river is. That's what your prophet said. And it's time for you to wake up. Instead of following the Dajjal for his mountain of bread, it's better for you to stay away from it, even if you have to eat what the Pakistani and Indians call dal and roti. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.